classic cliche. We're on the run, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights up, died with my own doubts. Be free.
I can pick you up when you're heading down. When it all just sucks, I'll be your Charlie Brown. You can make me laugh when I wanna cry. In a world gone mad, we're on an all-time high. You and I till the end, don't need to pretend. Again and again, we'll stick together. Everything is alright with you by
All right, everybody, welcome back one more time. Let us keep going. All right, so what are we going to do? Now we're going to break down the business a little further by giving you systems well, at least an overview of some of the initial systems that you're going to need. So if you were in the prior session, you saw one or two because we showed them to you. You were able to see the part of the SOPs, Standard Operating Procedures. That's what that stands for, in case you did not know. So right now, what we're doing is we're going to be talking about the systems that are necessary to build an incredibly, keyword, profitable short-term rental business. Because ultimately, that's what you want, right? You want an incredibly profitable short-term rental business. It's easy to build a business that makes no money. Let's go the other way. If this is your first session with us today, what I want to share with you is what we've gone over already. We started the morning talking about why short-term rentals are the most effective way to build your portfolio, period. We then continued talking about how to find the capital, helping you with some strategies and the language of what to do and what to say and how to make that happen. We continued with talking to landlords to get them to say yes to the business model and helping you make it all happen. Okay. At the end of the day, being able to get a landlord to say yes is kind of important. We were also talking about freedom, what that looks like for you and your family, and specifically how our three-phase system folds into your ability to create it, to literally create it from scratch. Because at the end of the day, if you can't be free, if you don't have the option to choose some things, then why does it even matter? Continuing though, for those, I want to make sure that you are aware that tomorrow we have more information for you. We're going to be talking about some of the technology used in the business. This is actually one of those popular sessions because it's a lot of expert tools. It's a lot of looking at some of the pieces on the inside and understanding exactly what connects to what to some degree, because that's one of the things that's important. But nothing significant is accomplished without a team. So we're going to break that down tomorrow as well. And we're also going to focus on the vision and story, because understanding your vision and story is, well, important. And that's just putting it lightly. It's important because you need to put yourself in a position in which you can ensure, and guarantee that you are staying on track. Then we're going to go behind the scenes as well. You'll be able to see some of the coaches, etc. And following the process, tracking your progress, we're definitely going to hit on that, helping you understand in a very clear way why we're different, and a lot of things, more importantly, how this process evolves over time. So I want to talk about I definitely want to talk about the systems that are necessary in order to make the business run. Now, there are a couple of things I just want to make sure. If you don't have a copy of the workbook, then by all means, you can grab one at CashFlowDiary.com/2-day book. When we're talking about systems, what we're looking for is this page, ladies and gentlemen. This page right here is all about the systems, and we're going to fill this in, giving you, again, yet another expert tool you'll be able to learn to use expertly. CashFlowDiary.com 2-day book. If for some reason you have missed some of the others sessions that we talked about, that I just mentioned, CashFlowDiary.com/2-day replays will totally get it done. That way you'll be able to see them, live them, if you will, almost in real time. Now, mind you, I'm constantly saying move at the speed of instruction. I'm giving you things to do, because as you do those things, you are developing your business. You're literally building it right now with us over these 2 days. Because as you saw, and I don't know, just in case you didn't see, you remember this? I was pretty excited. Look at that right there, I guess. You never know with this camera. Anyway, right there, look at that. I'm pretty excited for Terry and the fact that he's in the process. He is in the game already with some potentials, which I absolutely love. I love it when people move and make things happen. And then also, to remind you, for those of you who, I know there's a number of you who already have done this, but I also want to remind you guys that you've already gone ahead and gotten started, and that's great. Thank you. Congratulations. Yay. Because that's exciting. And yet at the same time, just want to remind everybody, cashflowdiary.com/roadmap. You're going to get all of the bonuses. To be very specific, we're going to pay for the photography. We're going to help you interview a photographer in your area to make sure that they're good, because that's not always easy to do. And then we're going to help you get that first listing written and executed, meaning we've got professionals that come in to write the listing, to describe it for you. Because again, you may think it's like, oh, what's the big deal? I promise you, it's a great big deal, but we want to get you started on the right foot. And then we're going to talk about, in fact, I'm going to show you some more stuff inside of a tool called SmartBnB. We're going to pay for your first year of using SmartBnB for your first 2 listings so that you have the ability. There's nothing left, ladies and gentlemen, that it'll be, quote unquote, undone. It's all being done. You just got to keep moving forward, doing the work. Go to cashflowdiary.com/roadmap. That will get you started. If you have a question or two and you want to get those answered, we have Robert and Jeremy in the chat. You can, they probably have tagged you, by the way. And so you can just respond to them, send them a DM, get on their calendar because you want to get your questions answered. Now, I think that's a great thing. And ultimately, the more great things that we can get to all do together, the better. So with all of that being said, now, I forgot one thing. One more piece of reminder is this. Go to the unit section. If for some reason you are trying to find some of the videos and you're like, where's this and where's that resource and all these things that he's talking about, it's inside the unit section. So the additional handouts that we've done, the workbook is there. Fill it out, because when you do, that's how you get the bonuses. You turn in the workbook and you get the bonuses. So turn in the workbook, and it's basically like $1,000 value of what we're saying to you. We're like, here's a free $1,000. All you got to do is pay attention, fill in the answers, and send that in. And when you do, we're going to pay for those things. I think that's exciting. It's exciting to me, but most importantly, I think it's exciting for you, because as you go out there, we've removed all of the questions because we're going to show you, train you, teach you how to build this system so that you become an independent business owner all on your own with no longer needing us, which I think is very, very exciting in order to make that work. All right. So systems, what are we going to be talking about? Well, we're just going to talk about a number of systems. So you heard me mention this in the prior session, and I'll say it again. It is systems that deliver the service. It's systems that deliver the service. So one of the homework assignments, and you will let us know how it goes tomorrow morning when we catch up, but I'm going to give you a little homework here so that you can begin to see what the systems look like, and well, actually how well many people are not using certain systems, because you heard me mention that I said, and I was very clear about it, technology is part of what's making the difference. So I want to go through some of these systems, and I'm going to share that with you. So now that I know that you're here, so that I know that you're here and that you are ready, do me a favor, go ahead and type short-term rentals rocks in the chat. That way I know you got the workbook, because that's the page we're going to be on, and you're ready to start putting in those answers, because what we're going to do is we are going to help you work only an hour a day. Got it. So, the systems that deliver the service. Here's some of the systems that are required. One is a cleaning system. There's a maintenance system. There's also a repair system, a replacement system, communications, and availability. Easy for me to say. My mouth did not do that. Did you see that? Availability. Cleaning, maintenance, repair, replacement, communications, and availability. What does that look like? What does that mean? Well, that means you should not be the one doing the cleaning. You should not be the one doing the maintenance, repair, or replacement, communications, or availability. Let me take that a step further. When I say cleaning system, it is not just, well, cleaning anymore, right? Cleaning implies that, if something was dirty, you made it, well, clean now. But now we're talking not just cleaning, but also disinfection. It's not enough to just make it clean. Now, it also needs to be disinfection. There are special disinfection and protocols that have been issued by the CDC or your local, I'll say local, health department in your geographic area. So for those of you outside of the United States, it still applies. So what does that mean? In one of the prior sessions, I shared with you a workbook that teaches you, honestly, how to pivot any business, okay? So it teaches you how to pivot any particular business. But inside of that workbook, or by going through that workbook, what you learn is not only how to pivot any business, but how to pivot a short-term rental business. And very specifically, it was the process of going through this particular workbook that gave us the understanding that we needed when it came down to capabilities, right? We were able to properly assess our existing capabilities. All right. Here's what I mean by that. As you go through this workbook, or as you begin to develop your own business and how it works together, what happens is you understand a number of things. That there's 3 distinct stages of a crisis. There's the during the crisis stage, because we know what happened before the crisis. But BC, before coronavirus, it was very clear. We know what to do. It's what you were doing, right? So it's easy to document that. But now the crisis is here. What do we need to do? And then there's just after the crisis, which to some degree you could say, we're not there yet, but we're making progress. We're still during the crisis, but I want to be just after the crisis too, just like you. And then there's new normal. It is 3 very distinct stages. I know we all may want to speed them along in various different ways, but understanding where you are in this process can help you develop different capabilities, because that was one of the questions we had to ask ourselves when this was all going down. Okay, how do we collectively make the changes necessary to still do our business? What new capabilities do we need? Now, you heard me mention that inside the roadmap, we meet multiple times live weekly. Okay. So as this continues to develop, as laws change, as customer behavior gets modified, we keep updating what the procedures need to be in real time, mostly because we have to do it too. And we're sharing all of those best practices together so that nobody's left behind. We're always ahead of the curve. We can stay reasonably occupied and learn to get the highest revenue possible that the market will allow. And the same was true here. What it came down to is that we had to develop new procedures just around the cleaning process. And if I'm not mistaken, it's, I think it was 63 of them. There were like 63 cleaning. Let me see if I can pull it up real fast, because it was like 63 or so new projects. And I say projects because when we give the cleaners tasks, this is part of the system, and I'm going to show you that in a second. When we give the cleaners tasks, it's in a project checklist form. So each project can have multiple tasks on it, and we added 63 more projects to the whole list of things that we were already asking them to do, because it needed to happen in order to make sure that we could follow and provide disinfection procedures, if that makes sense. That's what we had to do. Now, let me see. Pull this up. That's the wrong account. Go back because I want to log in and I want to show you exactly what I'm talking about when I say cleaning systems as well. So, so I'm just logging into the exact system we use. And again, we'll teach you how to set all this stuff up. Okay. Not that. Go to my account and there we go. There it is. And boom. Is this right? There we are. All right. So, just screen. There we go. So now you're seeing the inside of the system as it currently stands, and you're just seeing various different cleanings that are scheduled and whatnot. So what I want to show you though is the cleaning checklist. There it is. So as you can see right here, oh, it's 64. Sorry. So there were 64 new things that we added that were just specific to and only for the whole coronavirus situation, which again, we provide for them so that nothing gets missed, right? So let me explain. One of many systems, I said you have to have a cleaning system, but I've also said you have to have a communication system. It's kind of an overlap of both in this particular sense. Here's what I mean. Because you need to be able to communicate to your staff, those who are doing the cleaning, when do they need to go? Where do they need to go? How much cleaning is there going to be? And once they're there, what does it look like when it's in its original state? If you're like, back to one type of thing. If you're an actor, you understand what I'm saying there. How do we get back to the original condition? What does that look like? And what do I have to pay attention to in order to get it? And then how long do I have to do that work, which is all relative to the length of time. So we have a number of tasks and checklists and projects that get assigned, and then they choose, okay, I'll do that one, I can do that one, and I can do these 3 this day and those 2 that day, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then they report back, letting us know the condition of everything after it's done. And if there's anything that's damaged in the middle, guess what? You gotta get that information too. I'm saying all of this to say that you may think, or you may be, especially if you only have 1 or 2 units, you may be doing this same stuff, but right now you're doing it with a text message or an email. And yay, that's great. But that is not the way to scale. That doesn't work. It will break. You have to have a way to have this back and forth communication that's clear. There can never be confusion. You can't use words like, I am at the unit, right? See, because on the cleaner's schedule, they may only have 1 cleaning task that day. And that's great. But if they say phrases like, I'm at the unit, you don't know which of your 30 units they're at, because you're not in the same context as them when they type them. But you don't also want to make the communication too hard to do. So it becomes an art and science to make it efficient, so that there's never confusion of where to go, when to be there, how much cleaning am I going to do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And what's great about it is that with a well-executed system, you can make changes and it all still goes smoothly, which is, again, what we're talking about. Changes. Having additional checklists related specifically to the changing demand of the marketplace. Remember, how can you solve the problem? Because what if, like if you've been paying attention to the news and if you saw some comments from Stephanie, she lives in Michigan. Did you see that? Now, I just thought it was messed up. It's like, really? This is not the time for a dam to break and for people to need a place to stay. But guess what? Those who are short-term rental operators in that area and those houses that were insured properly and all this other stuff, There's a whole lot of need right now in that one area for people to have a place to stay. And it's, and you want to talk about a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 month reservation. Their house just got, I mean, I don't know how that's going to work, but it's not going to be quick. So it's things like this that I want to bring to your attention to help you become the professional short-term rental operator so that you can take advantage of them. Here's one of the reasons I like insurance business. Here, you want to know the secret? They're never shorter than 30 days. They often extend, and hear me clearly, nearly every insurance company overpays. 2 bedrooms that we rent for here in California. 2 bedrooms that we rent for I think it's $2,800. We can get $9,000 a month for. Yeah. Insurance is some of the best business on the planet. Once you learn how to get it, once you learn how to deliver it in such a way that it actually works for the insurance company and you've presented it and it's packaged and you are exactly what they're looking for and you can deliver on the service. So just understand that I think that's exciting. You know, I'm not excited that their house flooded, but what I'm saying is that everywhere across the country this happens. And in order to get to the point to where you feel comfortable doing these things, you have to have smooth communication between yourself and your staff and how it all works together. Not having smooth communication, it will not work. It does not work. It cannot work. Right? So you got to have that in place. Now, tomorrow, when we're talking about some of the technology to do that, we'll definitely show you, because having that at your disposal is going to make all of the difference. So cleaning systems, as you can tell, are important, but one of the most important and often overlooked is the communication systems. What I mean by that is the following. 1, 2, 3. So earlier, I showed you the numbers from 2019. And so now what I want to do is I want to show you the communication behind those numbers, right? And understanding that there's a lot of it, okay? But there's a couple of things that I want you to pay attention to, and this is where the homework assignment comes in, right here. What I want you to pay attention to is this right here. This right here, down here where it says median, okay? This word median and these numbers down here, okay? Here's why this is important. What this is saying is that our response time to events is usually under 7 minutes. 24/7 a day, regardless of the volume of messages we may receive in an hour. Down here, you can see the message volume on a per hour basis for 2019. You can see the message volume on a per day basis as well. And you can see the number of different languages required in order to execute and still being able to respond in 7 minutes. Here's why this is important. Your customer, a very simple, easy, competitive advantage you can develop is just being able to respond timely. Because your customer doesn't like waiting in line. Because you don't like waiting in line. Who likes waiting in line? Nobody. At all. And because of that, you can take advantage of technology and leverage it and make it a part of your system so that you can communicate in 7 minutes or less, which means what happens is that the consumer currently has been trained. Hey, if I'm going to use a short-term rental, I got to apply for or ask and inquire on 15 different ones and hope somebody sends me a message back. It's almost every day we'll get multiple inquiries from the same person on many different units that we are currently operating. That is not uncommon, unfortunately, but it's very, very true. What does that mean? That means a lot of people are dropping the ball at the easiest spot. they are not communicating. Not timely, not quickly, not efficiently at all. So here, with that, I say the following. If you can just communicate faster, you can win oftentimes. And that's exactly what we've done and do to make sure that no matter what time of day the message comes in, our customers can be responded to. So here's the homework assignment. This will be fun. What I want you to do is that I want you to go to booking.com, HomeAway, Airbnb. I don't really care which platform, but I want you to make an inquiry. And I want you to do so for at least 30 days from today. So not tomorrow, not an inquiry for tomorrow, but an inquiry that begins 30 days from today. Now, I'm not telling you to go buy or stay there unless you actually had plans to do that anyway. I'm just saying go make an inquiry. Make it for at least 5 days, preferably 7 or more. And meaning if you're going to stay there for 5 days, so 30 days from now, at least 5 days, and just ask them a question, any question, and see how long does it take for them to respond. Do they respond? If they do respond, do they answer your question? You want to make sure, and then you want to make sure that you do this with 5 different operators. Some of us, it is hard to tell, if it's a different operator or not. So do your best. But I want you to have 5 different operators. 5, so basically it's like talking to 5 different companies, trying to figure out how is this all going to come together and work. I want you to see, I want you to feel, I want you to understand what that experience is like. Because if they don't have a proper communication system in place, you will know. You will know. You will understand what I'm referring to when I'm saying this. And you'll also be surprised because this is the equivalent of having a customer inside your store with their hand on their wallet, ready to do something, but no one is paying attention. No one is trying to help them. Everyone is busy doing something else, mopping the floor, cleaning the aisle over there, stocking shelves, but they're not attending to the customer. It is the equivalent of that. And I think you'll see a lot of what I'm talking about. So when it comes down to communication systems, understand that that's the case. Now, see, I know ultimately that you only want to work when you want to work, 8 to 5, that type of thing. Great, totally understand. But this is a 24/7 business. And it's always 8 to 5 somewhere. Okay, you have to be on your customer's timetable, not yours. Period. Until your brand is large enough, like Chick-fil-A, you're going to be on your customer's timetable before you train your customers to be on your timetable, right? Because if you're anything like me, you crave Chick-fil-A every Sunday. It's just what happens. Anyway, and as you have heard me say more than once, and I say again, having expert tools it's great. And you can own an expert tool. It just takes money to purchase an expert tool. But until you know how to use the expert tool expertly, you don't get the same ROI. You just don't, because it's a great tool. It still does what it does, but you have not yet mastered the skill sets required. That is why it is a 12-month program. That is why the roadmap is taught over time. That is why you have the accountability coach. That is why we are there. I am there. Our staff is there. And we train multiple times per week. You know why? Because I don't get it the first time. And then you begin to grasp it, but then you start implementing it, and then new questions come up. And even though we've said it before, we'll say the same thing again, but now you're a different person. You need to hear it again, and someone holds your hand and takes you to the next step. And then we do it again, and we take you to the next step until the point where you go, okay, I think I can walk now. This is good. I think I understand how this goes. And that's great until the marketplace changes. And then all of a sudden everything changes and you got to go, okay, let's go back to basics. Who do we serve? But at the end of the day, you have a system that allows you to keep moving forward. And initially, you know what? You're going to have to put in more time up front in order to work less. Now, you'll get to the point to where you work less, but that's where building the systems come in and learning to manage the systems. Because one of the systems you will eventually get to, you won't get there at the beginning, eventually you'll need a hiring system for your customer experience team. You'll need a system for that. You need a system for onboarding as well as deboarding or offboarding / firing individual and finding a new person. You'll need a system for training them as well, getting them up to speed on how things work. How do we talk to the customers? What are their options, etc. Regardless, with all the potential situations. And what it comes down to is that as you begin to develop a deeper understanding, a deeper utilization of your systems, you now can deliver more economic value to the marketplace. As I said before, if you have one unit, you deliver a certain amount of value per month, 30 days worth, in fact. If you have 2, 60, 3, 90. When you have 12 units, you're now delivering 360 days, also known as a year, worth of economic value every month. That's why I've said learning how to take what you earn on an annual basis, we're not going to make that a monthly number, and then teach you, train you, work with you to implement, not just know about, not just read, not just watch on a video, but know how to use the systems that put you in a position to where you work 1 hour a day on the short-term rental business, which means now you can do many other things at the same time, which is great. Many of you mentioned, between your Chevy truck, I don't know why that one stuck in there, the Olympic trials, the whole situation around, traveling, which makes a lot of sense, right? Wanting to go somewhere, but and not having to worry or concern yourself, or the sports teams, all of these things, writing, awesome, all of those things. Being able to write as much as you want to every day is because the systems are in place. You put in your hour. I'm done for the day. I did my work. I'm going to move on to the next thing. And the next thing happens to be whatever you want it to be because you have the power of choice. Because you built the system that runs whether you're awake, sleep, or what have you, and it works for many, many people. That's what I get excited about. That's what we want to share with you. That's why we do what we do. We want to teach you how to take your standard operating procedures like these, make them your own, learn how to make new ones that fit whatever geography you're in. Here's why I say that. Because I'm in California, one of the things that we don't deal with, specifically Southern California, is snow. I don't have a pre-templated version of a SOP regarding snow plow, snowmobiles, or that anything to do with snow. That's also why we do it in the group form that we do. Because you know what we have? We have a lot of individuals around us that do deal with snow. And we teach you, we literally have a system that teaches you how to build. We built a system that teaches you how to build a system or an SOP so that you can build whatever standard operating procedure you desire. Because maybe you want to do something special. Maybe you want to have flower delivery. Awesome, great. But you'll need a system for that so that you don't become the system, so that your people know exactly what to do and how it all works. All of that is a part of what we teach and train you to do inside the roadmap. And we do that, like I said, over time, over 12 months, because there's no way to train it all in a weekend. I mean, sometimes I wish we could do it in a weekend. And sometimes I'm glad that we can't, because it takes, like I said, time to achieve mastery of anything, everything. It's not an instantaneous process, because learning to use expert tools expertly, it just takes time. So you have access. So when you get started with us inside the roadmap, what ends up happening is that you end up having access to, as I said, 37 different courses. And those courses cover an immense range of topics, as you can see, many different versions. And they take you through all of the stages of the short-term rental business and into owning and purchasing real estate, whether it's single family, multifamily, etc. Raising the capital for it, structuring the deals, the documents for them, market analysis. You get the idea. Giving you the tools you need to go out there and to take and to build something that is yours. And leveraging the resources that are in the marketplace that can give you the ability to create your cash flow. That's what we do. I get excited for doing it. I feel very fortunate that we get to do it. So in order for you to get started, all you got to do is go to cashflowdiary.com/roadmap. And when you get there, it's going to look like this. And you'll have access to your 12-month. Like I said, it's a 12-month program. I am going to be there training you multiple times per week. Your accountability coach, you're going to have access to 37 plus courses. It is now 4 times. We need to update 4 times a week of coaching, hot seats, where I'm asking you very clear questions specifically about your business, getting you past anything that you might be stuck in, bringing in guest experts that have additional expertise that's required, like extended stay, like Profit First, and helping you with the bookkeeping, the planning. All of that stuff is required in order for you to keep building this thing. We know that. So you're right. So all you're going to do is once you get there, you're going to put in name, first, last, email, phone, card, boom, 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 $15.97. And then when you're on the phone with Robert and or Jeremy, or you can send in your workbook to info@cashflowdiary.com. When we see that, we're going to make sure that you get all of the extra stuff too. So that your photographer part is handled, so that writing out the listing is handled, and so that you're in a position to actually have your communication handled, because we talked about how important those things are. And then over time, step by step, little by little, phone call by phone call, training by training, we're going to get you there. That's what happens. One day at a time. And it feels fun and exciting to do so. Over the next couple of days, over the next couple of days, you're going to meet some of the individuals that have already started. You're going to hear more, not only about the roadmap, but some of the results as well. Because we want you to know them. We want to know more about you as well, and you about us, right? So if you find yourself in a position where you're like, okay, this makes sense, let's get going to the next step. What you want to do right now is you want to go ahead and make get on Robert and or Jeremy's calendar, cashflowdiary.com/2020. But if you know that you're ready right now, just go ahead, go to cashflowdiary.com/roadmap. That way you can go ahead and get started. Now, as a reminder, tomorrow is beginning at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, or 11:30 a.m. Eastern. It's the same time, just being clear, depending on where you are. You can make the adjustments as you need to so that you can come back and learn some more. Because we got a lot more stuff to share with you. We have at least, we have 5 more sessions, right? Yeah, we got 5 more sessions to help you put the rest of these moving pieces together and continue moving you forward. We're going to give you some more expert tools, point you, hey, this, that, and this. There's a lot of stuff out there. And then remind you to keep taking that next step. So between now and tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. when we meet, what I would love for you to do is to keep making those phone calls, because we talked about talking to the landlords. That's what we did. We talked about what to say to them, what to say to them when they ask you questions, that the goal is just to get the appointment to go see the property. And then once you're on site, you have your answers. Additionally, we talked about raising the capital. If that's where you find yourself today, that's completely fine. I understand exactly what that looks like. Started this whole thing, the credit score of 398, squatting in bank-owned property, couldn't put $75 together, which is why I needed help. I had a lot to learn. And we talked about why short-term rentals works, and specifically who it is that you want to serve. And we've given you a number of workbooks and resources to be able to go out there and to use them. So make sure that you check inside the unit section, because you want to go and get that done and caught up, get the workbook completed. Because we want you to learn it, but not just learn it in the sense that, oh, now you know about it and you feel good. No. I want you to have a tangible experience with it. Something that tells you you're making the next step, because the version of you who is in front of me right now cannot be the same version that has their first, second, 21st, 30th, or more unit. You can get there over time, but it's one step at a time. And fortunately, we're here to support you all the way through. In a very real and serious sense, courage tends to come from something that's, external. Meaning, if you've ever jumped out of the plane, it wasn't because you had some sort of internal gut-wrenching, yes, I am awesome feeling. It's because you had a parachute on your back that worked. Now, yes, it still took up some nerve to continue, but if that parachute's not there, you ain't jumping. Let us be that parachute for you. Take the jump. Schedule the call. CashFlowDiary.com/2020. It's been fun talking to you guys today. I cannot wait for tomorrow, because we got more stuff for you. I look forward to talking to you soon.